Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Ochendo, and I will be taking you on the webinar for World Environment Day. And today we want to talk about people and environmental responsibility. Essentially, what I do at Susty Vibes, we started Susty Vibes as an online blog, basically to get young people interested in issues of sustainability. And then we noticed that young people also needed a platform to talk about the different things they know, and they wanted to also learn more about the environment. So we decided to have events and take it out on social media and get a lot of people involved with sustainability. And that was why we started Susty Vibes, and we've basically been 1 year so far. For World Environment Day 2017, it's very important that we talk about how young people are relating with environmental sustainability, environmental responsibility. And that is why my work with Susty Vibes is very critical to this topic. It's very relatable because every day that we come to work, every day that everything that we do at Susty Vibes is basically to get people to be in sync with nature, get them to know what's happening in the environment, get them to know issues of climate change, and get them basically to understand these issues and begin to act. So we act as a platform for young people in Nigeria and Africa to express themselves. So we do this through our website. Our website is www.sustivibes.com. In our website, you see loads of engaging topics and various series where we talk about environmental issues, be it population, be it reproductive health, be it climate change, global warming, deforestation, and all of these issues are written by young people, which is very exciting because we're basically four millennials and young people, and we give them this platform. We say, you have an opinion, you have an article, you could actually share it on the website. Let's hear your views. We know that there's no wrong or right. If we want to say everybody should get involved with sustainability and know about the environment, so we give them these opportunities to basically get involved in sustainability. I'll go right ahead to my slides and I'll share it with you in a bit. So I'm back. Welcome again to the World Environment Day webinar with the Commonwealth Youth Council and the EduCoders. And also shout out to EduCoders for giving me a platform to basically project my information and talk about this webinar. So basically, in the course of this webinar, I would like to talk about our work at Susty Vibes and how we've been able to engage young people with environmental issues and projects, and talk about young people and environmental responsibility in world regions, why young people should be responsible for the environment, and how it has worked for us at Susty Vibes, what you can do as an individual and what you can do as an NGO or youth body, and also discuss some of the ways people are going to celebrate World Environment Day, basically in Nigeria. So for us, like I said, we have a very interactive website that talks about various issues, whether it's opportunities for young people to get involved with sustainability, whether it's how people can connect with nature, population. Basically, we invite anybody, every young person, to share your stories and project to our readers to learn more on your expertise, on your knowledge, on what you feel. Some of them come under the opinion tabs, basically opening people up to sustainability issues. And we also have a variety of events that we hold from time to time. This was one we had last year. So basically, last year we decided to partner with a group called Social Prefectors, and we went to a resort and we decided not only to have fun but to talk about issues of climate change. Now, these were young people that were just out to have fun basically during the holiday period, but we decided to seize the opportunity to talk to them about global warming and what they can do. And we also got to plant a tree. And it was very exciting because for them, this was the first time in a long time they were getting involved with environmental issues. This was the first time they were actually getting to talk about it, pointing to the fact that pollution is a big issue for us in Nigeria and Africa, and they want to know steps in which they could actually start to curb these issues, what government is doing, what can be done better. And it gave us that platform to actually discuss with them, basically, and it was very exciting. This was us, the World Forest, International Forest Day 2017. We also partnered with Climate Wednesday for it. On this day, we took young people to Lufasi Parks Forest somewhere in Lagos, and we took them around the forest, like a tour in the forest, finding like trees that could have been extinct but protected by the forest owners, and just basically sharing with them the history of the forest, why trees are important for climate change, what it does in terms of trapping carbon, what it does in terms of natural breeze, and all of that, and the economic value, of course. And it was very exciting because we had fun, we played games, but these young people left these places, they left this place feeling inspired. They left this place feeling that, okay, there are young people who are interested in these issues. I have to connect more with them. I want to know more about what they are doing. So these are the kind of platforms that we do at Susty Vibes to get young people involved in environmental responsibility. And not only just going on outdoors, sometimes we use the power of movies and films. In this picture, we were screening Nowhere to Run. It's a climate change movie by the Shehu Musaya Adua Foundation in Nigeria. The climate change movie essentially relates climate change with Nigeria, and we screen it about twice now. We just want young people, even old people right now, to know about these things, understand it, and what we say we do is that we redefine advocacy so that everybody it's on the same platform. Everybody knows this what this issue means, and we break it down because climate change has become so global and become so big. A lot of people don't even know what it means. So that's what we do through these movies. We try to use film to explain issues of environmental pollution, climate change, erosion, the effect on climate change on our food system, effect on climate change on our health, displacement issues, where violence comes when youths are vulnerable, how climate change affects women and children. These are basically the kind of things we talk about in this forum. And they've become very effective tools because young people now look forward to our next event. Organization asks us to send a list of the various things we're doing so they know how to plug into these young people that we have as our followers, so to say. We also recently decided to take our advocacy work into the streets. Susty Vibes has a volunteer network of over 50 young people. We're very excited we have been able to achieve this feat in about a year now. So as part of our first year anniversary, we decided to go out to the streets of Mushi in Lagos to talk to people about pollution. Now in Lagos, we understand that we have a serious pollution issue, whether it's air pollution or normal plastic pollution and litter culture. So we decided to go talk to people one-on-one, take our advocacy out there, talk to them and tell them what they can do to get better, to make the environment better, and how they can even get incentives for doing this. And therein comes the issue of recycling. So we partnered with WeCyclers, a famous recycling company in Nigeria, and we asked them to give us volunteers, give us information about how people can sign up, and then people get to, well, we tell people about pollution, we tell them to stop littering, we tell them there's an alternative called recycling, introduce the layman to recycling and tell them that if you sign up, if you call this number, you can have people come pick up your waste and you get incentives for it. And it was very exciting because a lot of people were excited that there are platforms like this in Nigeria. So for us at Susty Vibes, we intend to not just do online activities, but to also take it offline, to take it to the streets. And it was very exciting, as you can see from the picture. We're having a lot of fun, recycling in the process, getting waste from people. A lot of young people on the streets also joined us because they were excited. They had never seen anything like this, like young people leaving what they were doing, leaving the regular platforms of playing game or talking about some other issue to actually get interested in the environment, where it look really purposeful for the environment. Never before has it been so united in terms of collaborations and partnership. So we're very excited we've been able to get up to this with Susty Vibes. And also, movie screenings, like I said, we also supported a screening of The Valuable Waste. It's a Pan-African movie on waste in Africa. We're very excited because a lot of young people turned out with very short notice to watch this movie in a private viewing, basically. We've also started this cleanup project with Nigerian universities, where we go to a Nigerian university, talk to them about waste management, and actually get them to clean up the waste in their school. Basically, because of the fun environment and the atmosphere, young people coming to do good, also supporting them with the necessary tools. We gave them bags, we gave them nose masks, we gave them cleaning tools, and they were very excited because they've seen two organizations. We had this with Clean Up Africa. Two organizations coming together to actually do something for the environment with them. So made them feel like they're actually the ones important. And that's the thing about environmental responsibility. Until we understand that we are a part of the environment, not apart from it. Because whatever you do for the environment as a young person, you're actually doing for yourself. When we talk about sustainability, we're actually talking about how to safeguard the present and the future, how to manage our resources so that the future and the present is able to enjoy and use them. We are the future. There's no, in 20 years' time, these young people we actually talk about will actually be the ones in, whether in political power, whether the ones with family and all. So whatever we start to do right now, we're doing for ourselves, basically. And we know that young people, whether in schools, whether as youth, as teenagers, they need to get involved in sustainability. We've often said that environmental responsibility should actually begin from the home. Teach their children about cleanliness, teach their children about managing natural resources and all of that, teach their children about switching off light bulbs. But we see that because parents are getting busier, it's not the norm anymore. So we decided to also take our advocacy to schools with riding with the power of the SDGs, getting to tell young people about sustainable development goals, about recycling, about life on land, about how climate change will impact their lives if they don't begin to act, the little things they can do, encourage them on tree planting and recycling. These are some of the initiatives that we've done with Susty Vibes to get young people on board with environmental responsibility. And also we have our flagship parties where we actually have a party setting to bring young people together to talk about sustainability issues, whether it's environmental or business. So this is a picture from our Susty party that we had in Abuja, where we actually brought young people together to watch climate change movie Before the Flood by Leonardo DiCaprio. It was very exciting because usually we're scared that, okay, they get tired, they get to leave, they're not interested. But because they see other young people who are interested in these issues, they get to stay. For the first time in a long time, sustainability is getting to that stage where young people in Nigeria and Africa want to get involved. That's why we get various messages of people wanting to volunteer. They want to know how they can support. They want to know what they can do for the environment. So it's changed from how it has been, how it was in, say, 2010, 2011. Now you have young people actually owning up to these issues, understanding that if they don't do something, that their future is threatened, basically. Understanding that though we may have policies and laws on environmental issues, they have to be the ones to drive it one way or the other. Once they know that this has been provided, How then do we enforce it? How then do we increase awareness on it? How then do we tell more people about these issues? And most of the work that we've done has brought us recognition and endorsement. This was sometime in New York last year when we got endorsed by the UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed on our work on sustainability and young people in Nigeria. And one of the very exciting things she said to me was that I know Susty vibes because of social media, and that is because we're not particularly a rich organization. We're youth led, we have the passion, we have the energy. We've been able to tap into the power of social media to get word out. It takes a lot of work and commitment, but as much as people are always on their phone using social media, we decide, why don't we use our own time, take away like all of the fun and other entertaining things, and talk about the environmental issues. And it has brought us this recognition. It has given us this platform for more, for young people to also get involved in what we do. And of sustainable development to start with. So it's basically defined as the development that meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. If you look at this definition, really it just speaks young people. That's the only thing you think of. You're thinking of the future, you're thinking of children, you're thinking, as much as the older generation should embrace sustainability, young people should actually drive it. Young people have the energy, they have the passion, it's their future that's at stake here. It's important that they drive it. It's important that they understand these issues and understand that are critical to their regions, because some young people in smaller islands have issues with ocean, with pollution, with life on land. Some other people have issues with their health, with diseases being spread because of heat, from issues of global warming. Some others have issues with agriculture and their food system being shut down because of environmental degradation, because of erosion and all of that. So it's important that you study your environment, you study your region, and know the issues that are at stake, and start to think of ways to increase awareness or find out innovative platforms or systems that could actually alleviate these issues. Gone are the days where young people would fold their hands and wait for government. We need to take these issues into our own hands, and matters into our own hands. We see somewhere that's not, we see somewhere that's been piled with waste. We look for young people, find a way to clear the rubbish, start doing things, start volunteering for causes. It's no longer you doing it for it to look good on your CV. You're actually safeguarding your future, and that is what sustainable development is about. Until we realize that it's not something that is apart from us, that we do, like we're doing the planet a favor or something. We're actually doing this for ourselves, basically. So, like I said, if you think about it, it is paramount for young people to be responsible for and to the environment, because I mean this is our future that is at stake. Children need to grow up wanting to take care of the environment. I mean, we tell parents to teach cleanliness, wise use of natural resources, water, etc. I remember growing up, and if you leave a room, my father would say, turn off the lights, like nobody's there. Who are you leaving it on for? Who are you leaving the fan on for? So you just take it or turn it off. I mean, with that mindset, it taught me that I should conserve energy. Basically, I didn't know it in that sense. I just knew that it didn't make any sense leaving your lights on and your fan on in an empty room. But as I grew older to understand sustainability and energy efficiency and conservation, I realized that by doing that alone, saving energy, and in saving energy, the planet in some way. I'm helping to reduce global warming, the amount of carbon or fossil fuel that is being burned to create this electricity, essentially. So I also say here that the youth are the backbone of any society. They're able to create huge impact when they choose greener lifestyle and even influence attitudes of their friends, parents, and relatives. I say this because the work that we have done at Susty Vibes, we've been able to see direct influence, whether on social media, young people get to tell us that, oh, they're going to stop littering just because of how much emphasis we've made on this issue, just because of the amazing things that we do, the time we spend, the commitment we spread on getting more people to be environmental responsible. They feel this passion from far away in different states in Nigeria, and they want to do better for the environment. We know that even our friends, for the Susty survivors and volunteers that work with us, we know that even their friends can see a difference in the way they are living their lives. They now become intentional about saving the planet, and that is what people are able to do. When a young person gets really passionate about the cause, about music, about anything, they put all their energy and all their heart and their souls to it. And that is what we do at Susty Vibes. That is what we encourage other young people to do. Not to do it because there's some planet B that you could run to if everything goes south on Earth. This is all we have. There is no planet B. We all have to put in our energies to make this work. And what is also very essential is that a lot of people say, but they're not environmentalists. They rather do stuff at the bank. They rather do stuff with graphic designing or music, which is fine. And the good thing about environmental responsibility is that it's a state of mind, not just an act or something you do. It's a state of mind in the sense that even as a graphic designer, you can spread word out on environmental issues. Even as a musician, even as a banker, you can decide to use less paper. You can decide that you're going to do something right, switch off your light bulbs when you're not in use, and actually get your colleagues in the bank to do it. There are now issues of business sustainability that we have also dabbled into through an ebook, trying to expose young Nigerians and young professionals to issues of business sustainability and how, on the long run, they get to actually save money when they think about sustainability, essentially. So, because they are the backbone of any society, when young people in a certain region take up courses of environmental issues, environmental responsibility, you get to see that everybody will align and join them because they feel this is the trendy thing to do, this is the next thing to do, and then they begin to influence every other person around them, basically. So I really like this quote. I like this quote from Harvey Milk. It says that all young people, regardless of sexual orientation or identity, deserve a safe, supportive environment in which they can achieve their full potential. Now, when we look at the environment, a lot of people think it's just the trees and the plants and all. Essentially, for a society to be said to be sane and to be safe for children, to be safe for young people, it means that every other thing is working in line. It means that young people have come to realize that they are a part of their environment, that violence and peace and all these other issues that make a society to be completely balanced are part of the things they need to start to advocate, basically. And there's also this quote from Henry David Thoreau. He says, "What's the use of a house if you haven't got a tolerable planet to put it on?" And this is almost like our driving force at Susty Vibes. We know that it's important to make profit. We know that it's important for people to be happy, but we often ask, where are you going to live in with all your money if your planet is being destroyed? Issues of climate change have become so important that you cannot overlook it. They're becoming they're political issues, they're global issues, they're even local issues because climate change affects everyone in different ways. It affects people in different regions in different ways, basically. And so, how has linking young people and environmental responsibility work for us at Susty Vibes? So one thing we have done, we've been able to brand sustainability as something that is cool, as something that is fun, as something that it's important to associate with. So as much as we've been able to relate issues of the environment to young people, to tell them how it affects their future, we've also been able to make it something fun for people to join in. We tell young people, oh, we have a party today. Whatever this party is about, they're usually not interested. But we want to raise awareness on the SDGs. So you're going to see a lot of nature around our parties. You're going to see us talking about the global goals, talking about life on land, talking about climate change and what we can do, talking about our advocacy work, essentially. pictures I shared, you see that a lot of our projects with young people have been in terms of collaboration. We've been able to collaborate with brands that are popular, upcoming brands that are known by young people, basically. So by way of their association, we've been able to pull the crowd to our events, basically. And I like to think that we've also been innovative about service delivery because we decided that it's not going to be business as usual. We want to tell, I mean, it's not, we've been talking about young people and environmental responsibility for a while, it has been in the works, but we decided that we're going to be innovative about the way we share our information, about what we do, how we say it, how we package it, how our events will be, how young people are going to relate. So are we giving gifts out? Are we doing a lot of social media recognitions for these young people? How do we get to reward them for the work that they do, basically in terms of service delivery? What can we do differently that some other organization hasn't done? How can we create larger impact? How can we reach out to more people? So it's not just the converted young people who already know about these issues. How do we now reach out to the unconverted young people and get them to understand these things, get them to know why we're so passionate, get them to be passionate as we are too. And we've seen it work because in terms of service delivery, there's a new project, but there's some innovative twist to how we're doing things. Now we're starting to work with celebrities on Twitch chats, trying to get everybody involved. And usually you would have like a seminar or a workshop on environmental issues. No, we're saying that's not how we want to work this time. We want to have a movie screening. So there's popcorn and you're getting to know about climate change. As scary as the movie might be, as horrifying as the truth we get to learn in these movies can be, but you're with other young people and you start to hear solutions and suggestions and of how we can actually move our planet and make our planet great again. You're starting to hear about innovations that are happening. Young people are doing various things to actually secure their future and becomes inspiring because we are open to collaborate, we are open to increase awareness and spread light and share light on these young people, these young stars, so to say, who are doing amazing things for the environment. And we have also mapped out our target audience so that we always serve their particular needs. So whether it's in terms of the events we do, we know that young people are at the center of our minds. We want to work with young people, whether young people in schools, whether young people in universities, young professionals. Those are essentially our target audience. So we always make sure our content is tailored to young people. So we vet some of our projects with our volunteers, ask them what they think about it, and if they think it's cool, if they think it's something that they're going to learn from, then we're happy to out to the project. We're happy to start work on it, basically. And so we have all, well, we're also making young people understand that they have to take the future into their own hands and also protect it, basically. So we're saying that look what's happening in the planet, see what's happening with climate change, look at our environment, look at our ocean being clouded with plastic waste. You have to do something. You have to do something and you have to do it now, whether it's in terms of advocacy, whether it's in terms of shedding light on areas that have been neglected by people and calling these people out so that they start to adjust their ways. So these are part of the ways we've actually achieved some of these things. And we also celebrate strides of our volunteers who make our work happen. I would share pictures of some of our volunteers that have actually done amazing work with us, whether in terms of social media, in terms of innovation, and how we find ways to actually celebrate them on social media, talk about their work and all of that. And last but certainly not the least is social media. Has actually it's safe to say that we are social media driven because a lot of times we put stuff on social media, but we get tagged by a lot of NGOs, a lot of environmental outfits who want to get their messages out to other young people. So we have written on the power of social media, basically, on the power of new media to get word out, to tell people whether it's in terms of infographics, info data, jokes, little cartoons, little images, artwork, a video, various things, just to sensitize and resensitize the minds of young people so that they get to understand that it's no joke right now. Environmental responsibility is not an option, but it's a necessity. It's important that we talk about these issues. It's even more important that we start to think about how to make our environment better, how to make the planet better. So whether you're bringing up an innovation, a business, you start to wonder how is your business affecting the environment. These are the kind of things we want to talk about to people. How is your venture? How is your new product? How much plastic are you using, for example? How much recycling is your business into? How are you embracing the recent environmental trends going around Nigeria and Africa? And how are you in line with environmental best standards all over the world? Basically, so these are kind of questions we ask people. We ask them how much of your value chain is ethical, how much of your supply chain, for example, what's your packaging like, and these issues, as much as they sound too technical, break it down to people. When we launched our ebook and had all of this information in it, we also had like weekly tweet chats where we're talking about these issues in bits basically. Then people get to come to terms to understanding that it's no technical jargon, so to say. These are issues that matter. If I'm going to stand out, I have to be in line with global best standards and all of that. So social media is very key, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Google Hangouts, there are various Google Plus, there are various social media platforms that you can use to actually encourage young people with environmental responsibility, basically. And so I like this picture because it says I'll always care about the environment until it's no longer trendy. So yeah, we have to keep environmental issues trendy to the point that they remain in the news, they remain in everyone's face. People continue to talk about it. I'm excited that we're in the era where climate change is now in the forefront in the political zone. Everyone is talking about climate change. You kind of look silly if you don't believe in climate change right now because the effects and the signs are glaring. It's no longer weather, it's no longer business as usual. The science and the facts are undeniable. That is why climate action has become pertinent, has become compulsory. It's now important for people to shout and stand out and advocate and become activists for the basically. So we have to continue to make it trendy, to make it one school to talk about, and to make the people, the advocates, the people who do a lot of this work, to make them heroes of our present time because what they're trying to do is to safeguard a planet that we have no alternative to run to, essentially. And so, for an individual who is interested in environmental sustainability or environmental responsibility, there are so many things you can do in terms of self development, in terms of activities, in terms of changing your lifestyle. I mean, top of my head, you know that it's important to switch off, you know that it's important to manage water and other natural resources, you know that it's important to recycle. And I understand that in most parts of Africa, recycling hasn't become the norm. But the good thing is that this is changing, and you can actually, with the power of social media, you can actually begin franchise. I know that organizations like Recycle Points are starting up mini franchise for waste aggregators, so young people on their own can actually begin to recycle for their streets or for their community and get incentives in the process. It's just so exciting that people are now thinking on ways to make the planet better, to get young people engaged, to get young people involved at the same time. And so you stare down on pollution. Stare down on pollution is our flagship campaign called pollution in Nigeria. We started online as a hashtag for social media, and we started to talk about why people should stare down on pollution, why it's important, what they can do in terms of in terms of details, in terms of activities, steps moving forward. How can you begin to how can you begin to step out of pollution? Do you want to talk to people about it? Do you want to provide bins somewhere? Do you want to actually ask your government for bins? Do you want to go out to the street like we did with the Mushi conference and talk to people about the many effects of pollution, basically? And of course, tap into the power of social media. I know that in on Twitter in Nigeria, we've been able to divide Twitter into climate Twitter and political Twitter and all of that. So there are people who are really passionate about this. There's Susty Vibes, there's Climate Wednesday, there's We Cyclers in Nigeria, there's recycle points, Fave Nigeria. There are a lot of them, and the good thing is because we collaborate a lot, you always find us in clusters talking about the same issues. So why don't you join in and add your contribution, say something, let your followers know that you're passionate about these issues. And because social media is some form of platform for you to, and it's your pulpit, so you can talk about these issues and begin to sensitize the minds of young people, begin to sensitize the minds of parents to even talk to their children about this issue. I know that Kids Beach Garden, for instance, they work with young people, young children from ages 5 to say 14, and get to talk to them about sustainability and environmental pollution, get to tell young people about tree planting, get them to actually plant trees and clean up beaches. It has to start from this really young stage. So also encourage young parents, whether young or old, as long as you have children, start to encourage them about environmental issues. Tell them how important it is and what they can start doing basically from that little age. And of course, volunteer. It's very important. Before I launched Susty Vibes, I did a lot of volunteer work with several organizations, basically just to get knowledge and to join a force of young people or older people or an organization doing stuff for the environment, whether it's in terms of increasing advocacy, whether it's in a sustainable farm, whether it's in an organization on young people and maternal health or reproductive health, whether it's in the Ministry of Energy, for any way you can get to learn more about environmental issues, it's very important to volunteer, to give your time to do one thing or the other for the environment. It gives you a good way to act to action environmental responsibility. Now you're not just saying it, you don't just know it for yourself, you're able to transfer your knowledge to other people and contribute to a larger cause. I don't know anything that could be even more exciting than that. Being able to contribute to a larger cause, to collaborate with other people, and basically to do stuff for people, and discuss these issues with your friends. I know that basically all my friends, they know when they hear something about climate change or pollution, a lot of times they think Jennifer or they think Susty Vibes because of how much detail, how much information I have pounded on this issue, because of how much I talk about it, whether on social media, and basically every chance I get, talk about how people environment, how environmental responsibility is dropping, how young people need to get involved. So you need to talk about these issues with your friends. How to start up these conversations are completely up to you. I don't know that there's any template, but as much as you've read more about environmental issues, you're in the know, you know about what's happening in the world, you know about what's happening in your environment, you're then able to talk about these issues and liaise with other NGOs or other youth groups that are doing something one way or the other, and you get to volunteer. And this is how environmental responsibility becomes a big part of your life. And when it becomes a big part of your life, it's literally almost impossible for you to go back to polluting or doing one thing that has an adverse effect on the environment, basically. So the more you do, the more your mind is sensitized to basically do right for the environment. And it's very important for us as young people to spend time with nature every now and then. The reason is environmental responsibility means you're caring for our life support system, you're caring for nature. So why don't you sometimes decide to actually spend time with nature with this life support system. Go out to the beach, look for a forest, plant a tree, just stay outside and actually experience nature. When you experience nature in this form, you become passionate about protecting it. You think about all the trees being cut down, and you think about how you can protect one tree or plant more. Think about ways resources can even be managed. You become passionate about this issue by the time you spend more time with it, basically. And so, as an NGO or a youth led group, I think it's important to get the young people in your team to actually lead projects. I've seen this done in a couple of NGOs, and amazing. When you let young people think of projects and actually lead it, you see them putting their energy, their passion, and everything they have to make it work. So your NGO becomes even more effective. Whether you're an NGO for core development work or environmental work or environmental advocacy, allow the young people in your group actually to come up with something. Of course, you can guide them to make it perfect, you can support them with resources, but every now and then allow them come up with various things they can do basically to support the environment. And NGOs need to tap into the power of social media. I cannot overemphasize how important this is because I've seen it work for me, basically. And it's important to collaborate with youth-led groups, other young people who are doing things for the environment. It's very important to collaborate with them and do one or two things with them. And find innovative ways of sharing information about your work. You want to share it on other blogs, other websites to get more people to know about you, increase your visibility basically, and ensure that your projects have ways to incorporate fun, to also reward and recognize the young people in your team basically. I will take questions very soon. Okay, so this was one of the graphics we used to talk about our Stead and Pollution campaign, basically. It was designed by a graphic designer in our team, Adam, who is now doing a lot of stuff around sustainability design, basically. And so, like I said, we find ways to also reward our volunteers and get people to know about what they do and all of that. So this is Adedayo Ayonvon. He's a technologist. He's doing amazing work when it comes to creating innovations for clean energy, for environmental responsibility. And we're excited to showcase it to the world, whether it's on our social media. And we've been excited to see some of the things he has learned from just being in our network of volunteers doing stuff for the environment. And basically, and, oh, there's also Bola who manages our social media. When Bola joined us, she had no idea of these environmental issues, but because of her work with social media, managing her Instagram account, she's been able to see that change is actually possible. When young people set their mind to do something for the environment, it's actually possible. We need that energy, we need that passion, and also to incorporate it with fun so it becomes possible, basically. And I really, really like this quote. I like this quote from Pope John Paul II, and he spoke about the earth will not continue to offer its harvest but except with faithful stewardship. We cannot say that we love the land and then take steps to destroy it for use by future generations. And basically, this year's World Environment Day, one of the things that I'll be doing would be to go and spend time with nature. I'm going to join Kids Beach Garden to actually spend time with nature, to plant a tree, clean the beach, one of them, and actually get a certificate for my participation. So it's very exciting that young people are thinking of events and different things to do. I know that over the weekend, Climate Wednesday organized a football match that was aimed at increasing awareness on environmental issues because they played the football match in a solar powered pitch and basically to shed light on these issues and get people to know about it basically. And so I'm interested in knowing how other young people all over the world are spending their World Environment Day. I know that it's a Monday, but after work, what are you going to do? How are you going to spend the World Environment Day? And I also think every day is World Environment Day because it's not like the environment changes on this particular day. It's still the same environment. So whatever you do today is important to incorporate it into your daily life because every day truly is World Environment Day. And so over the next few minutes, I will take questions and attempt to answer them basically. But joining my webinar and basically to talk about environmental responsibility and young people. So do we have any questions? I think if you're registered at EduCoders, you're able to send me questions for me to attempt to answer. All right, so I'm not able to see questions, but if you have inquiries or questions for me, oh, I see. So most of the questions will come in. But if you have questions for me, you could probably reach out to the Commonwealth Youth Council, to Educoders, or to us on Susty Vibes directly on info@sustivibes.com, basically. And I'll be very, very happy to respond. Well, thank you so much for joining in and listening to my webinars, Young People Responsibility. I hope that you've learned one of two things or you've been inspired by my work at Susty Vibes and are ready to replicate it in some way and do something for the environment in your locality, in your community, in your school, wherever you find yourself, wherever you're able to influence, understanding that environmental responsibility is no longer some option that you get to choose from. It's become important. And something that's very key that I always take to heart is that the young people who are doing this right now will become heroes of tomorrow because we're taking time out of, well, albeit very busy schedules to actually talk about the environment, to talk about issues about the environment. This is what makes us different, and this is what's going to make us the heroes of today, basically. Thank you all so much for joining the webinar. I'm very excited to have done it. Thank you, Commonwealth Youth Council, and thank you, Edit Brothers, as well. All right, have a great day, guys. Bye.